Hi, this is Tosha Dash, CEO of She Dreams Consulting, and I'm on Star Talk with J Haleem.
I'm in the studio 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 with J Haleem. I'm in the studio with J Haleem.
You are now in the studio with J Haleem.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy J Haleem. We're back for another episode of S.T.A.R.V.E Talk. And listen, I'm continuously getting upgraded. Look at this beautiful sister right here. Y'all do not know. I've seen her around the city in Columbia, South Carolina. And when she was getting started, she was jumping off the porch. And then now when you hear about her story, and find out the rock star she's become in the business world, you're going to be just as excited as I am. I'm talking about, if you don't know who she is, you're going to get to know her, Miss Tosha Dash. Tosha, thank you so much for coming on S.T.A.R.V.E Talk.
Oh, thank you, Jay. I appreciate you asking me to come on.
And let me tell you something. I don't always reach out to people, especially, I've done my thing with the people that's local that I know. That was the whole movement. I wanted to work with entrepreneurs who didn't have the opportunity. But I just remember when you were getting started. I remember when you jumped out the porch and said, I'm leaving my job and doing all this, and then started watching the matriculation. And I really appreciate your grind. And so, but more importantly, what we do here in S.T.A.R.V.E Talk, it's not just highlighting entrepreneurs, it's the journey. The acronym for S.T.A.R.V.E is Stand Tall and Reclaim Victory Every Day. So with you being a single parent, which we're going to get into, with you being a Black woman in entrepreneurship from the South, things of that nature, you have a story to tell. And
Definitely.
so that's part of what this situation is about. So let's talk a little bit about, your beginning, being here, in South Carolina, growing up. What was your goal? Was it always to be an entrepreneur, or what was the plan?
Actually, Jay, I just came back from a retreat, and she had us kind of dig deep and think about what would we tell our, younger selves. And thinking back, I really didn't have like a dream or a goal or anything. It was just I was just out here living. I was a good child. I was mannerable. I, had good grades. I played sports. I was just kind of living day by day, so I really didn't have any dreams. Knew I wanted to go to college. Parents were blue collar workers. They did extremely well with raising my siblings and I. And they always wanted something different for us. So I went to college. I attended the Claflin University in Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. Hey, it's still all HBCU love. I know you from BC. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You made the wrong decision. It's all right. It's okay. And then, so another thing, and then I pledged the most illustrious sorority there is, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And so, and I know I see you back there with the blue wall, so I already know what time it is.
Oh man, love Deltas too.
Yeah, we love the Divine Nine, but actually, and as I think and I go throughout my journey, I really didn't have any dreams of becoming a specific thing or any dreams of being this specific person. It was kind of me as it hit me. I was like, okay, well, let's do this. Let's do that. So I really didn't have any dreams. And so that's kind of like my journey, just blue collar workers, parents always wanted something better for us, didn't want us to have to work, blue collar and work at a plant or anything of that nature. And so, I attended college, and then, from there, definitely a different person from when I started in 2000 to 2004. And then I went back in 2006 for my master's, but it was just kind of me just like, hey, you should do this, you should do that. It's just kind of going through the flow, going with the flow rather.
How do you feel about that now? You said that your parents didn't want you to do the type of things that they were doing. How do you feel about those jobs now? Do you feel like your parents were misguided in that thought? I know their heart was in the right place, but do you feel like they was misguided in that thought?
As far as didn't want me to be a blue collar worker?
Yeah, the kids being blue collar workers.
I don't think so. I think at the time with the mindset, the economy and things that they had going on, like my mom worked long hours, so she working 10 hours in a place where it's hot, You know, and so she was like, I don't want that for y'all. You know, she used to come home and tell us, like, you know, she used to come pour down in sweat, you know, working in those, you know, plants. And
Wow.
my mom did CNA for a little bit. So she did that side of it, but it was more financial. It was in the best interest of us financially for her to be, you know, work at a plant. And so, and there's nothing wrong with it. I had an awesome life. And everything I wanted and needed, I had. But my parents just had to work really, really hard to do it. They had to do that physical labor. And I was like, I don't want to do the physical side. Let me see what I can do on the opposite side. You know?
I love that. I asked that question because, again, it's going to be a never ending question, especially going through the generations, because you think about that baby boomer generation. They said that about pretty much no matter what the jobs were, unless they were a doctor, a lawyer, it was like, hey, I don't want you doing what I'm doing. And
Right.
a lot of times that wasn't a bad thing, that what they were doing. They just
Definitely.
thought that they were told that it was something bad. And, you know, but now you think about in the Black community, there's not a lot of plants. I growing up in New Jersey, where I grew up at, it was plants all over the place. You know, it was
Right.
very industrialized, and now it's deindustrialized. And so that has a lot of people on the corners, had a lot of people doing stuff they don't have no business doing, things of that
Right.
nature. So I just wanted to get your side of it and what you thought about it. But that's great. A lot of times, you know, again, you have these people who had these horrible childhoods, and they feel like that's the best story. But I'm glad to have somebody be able to say, hey, you know, my parents did take care of me.
Yeah, my parents were amazing. Like, I didn't want for anything. If anything, my mom was like, okay, now that's enough. Like, and I was the oldest. So, you know, I got a car, you know, I got like 3 cars, you know, I mean, my parents did really, really well by me, you know, and so that's my main goal now. One of my goals is to make sure on the back end now, I want to take care of them, you know, so
Yeah.
that's definitely one of my eyes on the prize, like making sure that, you know, when I, you know, get to this point of, you know, my wealth or what I call my success, you know, I'm able to, you know, pay them back, so to speak. And I know we not supposed to or whatever, you know, what other people say, but that's what I want to do.
Now, I agree with that. I agree with, if your parents took care of you, you should take care of them. I'm cool with that part.
Right.
Everybody don't agree with it, but I'm with that, because again, it's just, this is called the cycle of life. You know, you're going
Yes.
back to a situation where you need to be taken care of. You need to be taken care of as a baby, and you go right back to saying you lose all your teeth, lose everything. You know,
Right.
so
Right. You're
same
right.
situation, somebody feeding you, somebody changing you, somebody doing all that stuff, and it's supposed to happen like that. So I totally subscribe to that methodology. But your career, you got out of college, you know, from Claflin, you know, you made a bad decision, but you made the best of a bad decision. And you graduated. So let's talk
Hey,
about
you know what, Jay? I will make that same decision all back over. I was just telling somebody, like, the life that I had and what I did, you know, it'll be a few tweaks, but I would definitely attend Claflin all back over again.
Everybody says that. You know, I think that as an adult now, I understand. I think Claflin was a great university. I was, you know, coming, I was all BC, everything. I'm down there at the game, acting a fool, you know, all of that. I put in a lot
Yeah.
of nonsense down there. You know, y'all come up to our thing, we lose, we fight. I was in
Yeah, that's it. Like, that's
in the middle
it.
of that. But now as an adult, I don't know if I let my kids go there. If I still lived in South Carolina, I probably couldn't do it. But now, if they wanted to go back and go to Claflin, I say, okay, cool, because I don't reside in South Carolina full time no more.
Right.
But what was your career choice when you first got out?
So when I got out, you know, we're supposed to get that dream job when you get out making like 60 bands, you know, so that was not the case. So I was trying to think about, what did I do? I was still at Zaxby's. I was working at Zaxby's through college. So I was still at Zaxby's.
You was
And
that
I think
girl. You was that
I was that girl. Oh, I was that girl. I
oh,
knew
pretty
everybody at State
girl, yeah,
Claflin
pretty
came
girl at
through.
the restaurant, and you know, got the boyfriend who getting the free food and pick you up in a nice car.
All of that. I'm actually still friends with some of the ones that I used to talk to. We are still friends. We are actually still friends. But from there, I worked at K Jewelers. So K Jewelers was like my first job, and it was in Columbia, in Harveston, during Christmas time. I was like, man, this is not it. And then I transferred to the Orangeburg store. and was there for a little bit, and then I went to Alltel. I felt like I was on a come up. You know,
All
remember
time.
Alltel?
Wow.
Alltel
Yes, Lord.
Communications.
Wow. That's a throwback right there.
Yes, and I was on a come up. It was paying for my phone bill. I only had to pay taxes. Worked on, got commission. And so yeah, that was I had a lot of jobs. I was still, again, because I didn't have any dreams. I didn't have a dream job. I was applying for state jobs. You know, it's like you had to know like the hiring manager to get a job at the state job. I got so many denials with them.
Yeah.
I used to ride around with my resume in my car, like my inhaler for my asthma. I was just riding around with it. It was like my inhaler, pocketbook, resume. Like I was
Wow.
always ready.
She said then hell.
Yeah, I have asthma, so I have to have that. But yeah, I was always ready, and just so it's just kind of, and I'm great at talking to people and networking. As you can see, I love to talk.
Mhm.
And I think I worked at South Carolina State. I worked in their book room for a little bit, so I did that. And I think my big break was my brother graduated from high school in 2008.
Mm.
And so I was a first generation college student. And so he was getting an interview for college, and he had to go to South University. And so I told my mom, let me go with you, because she maybe some questions that she wouldn't have to answer that I would have known since I attended college already. And then from there, when he was doing an interview with him, I was like, oh, this is easy. I can do this. He was like, really? He was like, do you have a resume? I said, hold that thought.
You already had
Ran
it.
back to the car because I had it with me all the time on resume paper, not on no regular 8x11 white paper, resume paper. And then from there, that's when my career really started. When I was at a job longer than 2 years, was in higher education.
Wow. Wow. So you in higher education, what was your major in? Was you majoring in education at the time?
No, my major was business. So well, let me go back. I started off in computer science again, because I didn't have any goals and dreams of what I wanted to do. I like science and I like math. So I was like, hey, let's do computer science.
Yeah.
I got in there, and there was a foreign teacher in there, and I see my whole college career fly before my eyes, and my mom and daddy killing me because I'm failing. So I was like, I think I need to do something else. And so
Yeah.
I chose business, and it was like the best thing that could have happened to me. I absolutely love business. I can talk about it forwards and backwards, in my sleep. I can talk about business.
So did your master's is in business as well? You got an MBA?
Yep. I have an MBA. I got an MBA in 2006. I went to Claflin. I was like, hey, I know all the professors. They don't need for me to go back and build new relationships with other professors. I already know their style of teaching. Let's just go back and get your master's. So I did that.
So with college now, telling your story about going to college and everything like that, and you have the kids now, because it's completely different.
Right.
And how you went to something that you didn't see a future for yourself in, and making that pivot. How important is it for kids to actually know what they want to do before they go to college?
Oh, and so working in higher ed, I was an admissions representative. And so it's always the parent and the child. And I always had a hard conversation with the parent. Like, a lot of kids choose the school and then they choose the major. That's the wrong thing to do. You need to choose, what do you want to do? What are you good at? What are you passionate about? When you wake up in the morning, are you excited about it? And then find that major that supports that, supports what you're excited about. Because if you do it the opposite way, you're wasting money. Now you got your default on your student loans. Now you're telling everybody student loans are bad because, they taking your tax check, and then when 5-10 years later, when you're ready to go back to school, now your loans are in default, and now you have to go through this long process of, before you're able to start school, because now as an adult, somebody said, hey, what do you like to do? You should do this, instead of choosing Clemson or USC or UCLA or USC, to go to school. We do it wrong. We don't teach them the proper way to apply for college.
Yeah, the utility of it. It's like literally they treat it like a lifeline as opposed to the utility. Like, what I mean by that is, like, sometimes if it's a tool, sometimes those tools don't work. So for somebody, college might not be the case. But
Right.
if you say you want to be a doctor, then college is the way. But if you say you want to be, because again, jumped out. I would say my career started when I became a photographer, and that was over 10 years ago. But I've been out of college way longer than that.
Right, right.
Nobody told me. I mean, I always knew I was going to be in business, so I just did business, but it was a filler for me. It was just, okay, I'm in college, I'm in business. But if I knew what I was going to do, I didn't have to go to college for that.
Right.
And I wouldn't have put myself in that situation. So understanding that school period, especially post, high school, is a utility, and how can you use it? And if it's not the tool that needs to be in your toolbox to get to where you need to go, you might need to back off. But if it is, then you learn how to use it properly so that you can actually get what the result that you're looking for. And I believe that the generation past, and even us, some of us now, are not doing it right for us, telling our kids. It's just like, I went to college, so you got to go to college. Or
right.
Your kid just clearly told you they want to drive trucks. They don't send them to college, and they really,
for 4 years.
They want you to have. Your son is getting you to buy him dump trucks to go around there. He want to drive them. He get excited when he riding past him, and you want to send him to college.
Yeah,
and you're gonna owe $80,000 and come back and still get in the dump truck. Like,
right, exactly.
Like, we can't do that type of situation. So I definitely wanted to ask you that, because you're a parent, and so. I know you telling your story, and that's one of the things that get kids excited, because we start talking about how much fun we had in college,
right?
And the things we've done, and then if we seem successful to them, they're like, college is the wave. So what are you telling your daughter, right? Your daughter about college?
Yes. Well, actually, I mean, I tell her, I don't think college is a bad thing. Just like you said, it's not bad, but it's about what you want to do. And so right now, she's a business owner. She's getting her own business. So she's thinking about that. So she's doing that. And so her dad and I, if that's what she wants to do, then we're going to pour into that. But if she wants to have business, she wants to go to school for business, I'm not going to tell her not to go.
Yeah.
So it's all about what that child loves to do. You have to have a love and a passion. So that's why I talked to her about, like, what do you like to do? I'm asking her that right now, so she can start thinking about it. Like, what do you like to do? What do you love to do? What is okay? And so as she does that, then my job is to figure out, okay, expose her to different areas, whether it's be entrepreneurship or college or a combination of both, because she may not have to go to a 4-year school. Maybe she can go to a technical school, get what she needs, get a trade, and then still be able to be an entrepreneur. Because it's not like the end all to be all to attend a 4-year college, just like you said. So maybe a trade school. Yeah,
definitely. So, you working in higher ed, but then you getting this itch. When did you start getting that entrepreneurial itch?
Okay, so I didn't get the itch. The itch found me. I'm gonna say that the itch found me. So after I went to South University, I was there for almost 10 years, almost 9 years. I went to Virginia College and worked in career services. And so did career services for a year. This is the thing about jobs and working in corporate America. Was there for a year. I'll celebrate my 1-year anniversary. The next day, they let me go. Not because I wasn't a great employee, not because we just won an award and I wasn't coming to work on time, because they were downsizing. So literally on the 16th, yay, I'm excited. I'm going to lunch with my boss. 17th, they called me into the office and said, we're gonna have to let you go.
Wow.
I was devastated. So went through the whole process. A couple people there, because I was in career services, a couple people there advocated for me and got me back into admissions. I absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
When I mean like hated it, my whole entire face, my whole demeanor, my whole energy was off, because I worked my way out of there. Then I had to go back, not knowing God had a plan for me.
Wow.
Yep.
I was going to ask you. So I see why. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. God had a plan for me. I had someone there who was doing life insurance. They started life insurance, and everybody think of life insurance. You think about the man in the white shirt, cut off with a tie, coming to your house and say your life insurance. And I was like, no, sir. And that was in December. January, I got laid off. He came back and revisited that conversation. We revisited that conversation, and I studied and got my license to become a life insurance agent. And during that time, when we got those layoffs, that was just like the first of many layoffs at that school.
Yeah.
At that time, I can kind of see the writing on the wall. And that's when I knew. I was like, you know what? this isn't for me anymore. This isn't for me to make 100 calls a day. I say, I know this is not the purpose God has for me to go to college twice, have 2 degrees and make 100 calls a day just to beg people to come to school. That wasn't for me. And so after I got into the insurance industries, I really like it. And then I got exposed to someone who told me about being an entrepreneur and how insurance can be my business.
Yeah.
And so from there, that's when it was a snowball. When I say it was fast, it was fast. That was in January. In June, I fired my job in June.
You fired the job.
Oh, yeah. I gave them my 2 weeks notice to say your services are no longer needed. And so I'm gonna give you 2 weeks to, hey, do your thing. And then I'll see you when I see you.
So insurance, what was your biggest trepidation about joining that getting into that space, the insurance space?
Because, like I said, I didn't want to be like the insurance agent that comes to your house and just kind of sell you insurance. And I was ignorant about insurance. And so because of my ignorance in insurance, I only had that perceived notion of what I've seen and, what people say about insurance agents. And then when I, brought those walls down and actually was open to listening, because I had muffs on, I was like, no, I didn't want to do this. I'm fine where I am. I don't want to do it. And then when I took the muffs off, I had an open mind, and I was like, this can be a very lucrative job, a very lucrative career. And it was actually my path to becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I learned, especially with Black people too, when it comes to insurance, and I have conversations, especially with new insurance agents, and they've been in classes and stuff of mine, and they starting their own business in insurance, and they're people don't want to support, or they don't want to pay for it, and they're definitely going at us, at Black people, and other Black people don't want to support because I'm insurance. And do you find that it's lack of education, or is it just a stereotype like that you had?
It's both. It's both, but more so lack of education. We don't want it, we don't need it, or we don't have it until we need it. So what's the saying? I'd rather have it and don't need it than need it and don't have it. That's the terminology I was using. And because we figure we don't need it, it's not a need. And what's crazy is we have to have insurance for our car. They make us have insurance for our car, right? That's mandatory. It's mandatory to make it insurance for the house, because they value that car, because if something happens to it, they want their money. They value this house because you still have a mortgage on it. We are the only people that don't value ourselves. We should put insurance on ourselves, just like we value our car, even our cell phones. We have insurance on our cell phones because if something happens to it, we want to take care of it. But what about you?
I think you put a word out there. You said mandatory. You know what I'm saying? Like when you give people a choice, it's a whole lot different. You know what I'm saying? Like in business, as two entrepreneurs talking, when I teach, I tell people, I say, especially Black people, we have businesses that's insignificant. And so when you have a business that people don't need what you have and they only can want it, wants change way faster than needs. So you gonna wake up in the morning and go to Walmart and get underwear, get some soap, or get something that you need to go through your day. But this creative scenario that you came up with, and this might be beautiful, but they don't need that. You know what I'm saying? And so they got a question. And it's the same situation with life insurance. Nobody's putting it out there like you need it, because once you die, you die. And then some people even feel like, if I die, I ain't here.
I'm not gonna be here.
I'm not gonna be here to go through whatever the issue you saying that's gonna happen when I'm not here. You know what I mean? So it's a different scenario in that. So how do you educate somebody out of that train of thought? As a agent.
I let them know we have to break generational curses. And a lot of our counterparts, a lot of people in other cultures, they use insurance to take their families to the next level, because one, it's tax-free. So you don't have to worry about paying taxes on it. And two, they educate their families about finances. I just seen someone put on Facebook or Snap that, we were learning about geometry and all of that. And I was like, oh yeah, because I'm using that every day instead of learning about taxes and all of that. We have to do the work. We have to teach them about finances and learning that if I have $100,000 insurance policy, after you pay $10,000-15,000 to bury me, you got $85,000. That's not for you to go and get cars and shoes and hair and nails. We need to invest that money so it can continuously grow generation after generation. So if you want to change the dynamics, if you want to change the financial trajectory of your family, when you leave, then that's what you want to do. If you want to leave bills, then don't get an insurance policy. You know what I mean? But if you want to change the financial trajectory of your family for years to come and teach them about finances, then you start off with life insurance, because there is no taxes on life insurance, and show them what they need to do with the life insurance.
And one of the things I've learned, you know, because I was one of those people, you know, I actually worked with Prime America when I was a kid. I was like 19, 20 years old at Benedict, working with Prime America. And I had a policy, but it was just one of those situations. Well, you can't sell it if you don't have it, which makes sense. But it took years for me to get it. And what someone told me about life insurance that made me actually get it was life insurance is not about death, is about life. Because the truth of the matter is, people don't want to hear, they don't want to talk about their death. They don't want to talk about it, and they damn sure don't want nobody else to be talking to them about it on a regular basis. And then I'm paying you for my death, like basically, like I'm giving you money, and we're gonna talk about that. But when I was educated on the fact that how you can use it as a vehicle while you're living to, you know, enjoy life better and to avoid taxes and help things, and, you know, legally avoid taxes and things of that nature.
Right.
And then this is the biggest thing I know, like people that they ran away from it because, especially Black people, the health scenario. If you had, you know, the misconception was that if you had life insurance, they had to go through health screenings all the time, and Black people have diabetes and all these other situations, and they're saying, hey, you can't get it. I have a very good friend that's very well off, and it took her, she went to about 8 different places before they was going to take her because of a health situation that she's had. And she has a lot of money. Her, you know, her family, they're doing very, very well for themselves, but she had to break her neck to find some insurance. So a lot of these things are not addressed in those conversations when trying to sell, especially African Americans, on life insurance. Have you seen any of that and overcame any of that?
Yeah, definitely. They have pre-existing conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
I overcome that with telling them you need, the sooner the better, you need to get insurance policies. Like, you don't wait until you're sick or someone dies and then you want to get insurance. You get it while you're young. The younger the better, because unfortunately we don't know what we're putting in our bodies, you know, with the food and the preservatives and all of these things that we have going on. So, you know, we wake up with things, we're feeling bad, we're doing this, and then you get you get diagnosed with something like, oh Lord, let me get an insurance policy. I don't want to leave my family with that. You do it while you're happy, healthy. You're running around here having a good time. You start now. Get policies. When you have kids, as soon as they get a social security number, you need to get them insurance. You know, that's when we need to do it. That's what we need to teach our community. You don't wait until someone in our family who's 60 years old to get insurance, and now you're 40, it's going to be higher. Get it when you're younger so you don't have to pay as much. And then you don't have to worry about if something happens, you know, now I have this pre-existing condition, I can't get insurance, and now insurance is bad. Again, we didn't do our due diligence on the front end, so we won't have to have these cause and effects on the back end.
What was one of the, because you said this prepared you, so what was one of the biggest things that got you prepared to go off on in your entrepreneurial journey in insurance space?
Because insurance it goes up and down, as far as with the money and the commission and all of that. You know, one week you can make $5,000, the next week you can make $1,000. You know, you get chargebacks, you get all of that because somebody didn't want to pay their bill anymore, you know, so you get chargebacks. So learning how to budget and manage my money as an insurance agent was key to me growing as an entrepreneur, because I know every day isn't going to be great. And so I need to know how to budget my money, pay my bills, still live my life, you know, take care of my family.
That's the biggest thing that people don't get when it comes to moving into entrepreneurship, because, and I've been a felon, so I couldn't get that job, even though I had a degree. And but once I got to a certain space of success, if you really love people, you're going to try to teach them how to avoid the pitfalls. And so I always tell my people, if you got a job, especially a good job, don't rush to get off that job, because that, just knowing, I don't care. I mean, me being a hustler, I don't care if I got $200 a week. If I know it's coming, I'm in way better shape than I might get $2,000 maybe next month, and that's double the money. But at the same time, if I can count on it and I know it's there, I can make things happen. And then when you're an entrepreneur and you don't know when your next check coming, you don't know how to plan. Like, how do you take vacations if you don't know how to plan? How do you might get 50 grand, but if you ain't get no money the first 6 months of the year, you got 50 grand, you still broke. And we think like that. We don't think like that. We just thinking, okay, we gonna make this money and we don't have no boss. And so, what were some of those things you had to overcome back and forth? Because you've been working for 10 straight years, and then now you still got to eat what you kill in insurance.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't getting a check on the 1st and the 15th. So when I did get that, a lump sum, or I did really well that week, I made sure I paid my bills, so that was first and foremost. I had to pay where I laid. So where I laid my head at, that was first and foremost. Hey, I can't, I have a child, so I can't be homeless and I can't be living on someone's couch. I just paid my essential bills first. And then after that, I just learned how to manage my money. Always paid, mortgage, lights, water, things you can't live without, make sure, I had something to eat. And then now I can, be able to budget my money accordingly as it came in. But always paying my bills first was, the first thing. And especially as you get older, when you're younger, you just spending money. You in college, you just spend it. That's the first thing you do. You with your parents, you just spend it. Now you're on your own and you're an entrepreneur. You be like, oh no, I got to make better decisions. I got to be an adult today. And so this again, just learning how to manage your money. And it took a while. It wasn't something overnight, because I was like, I'm not used to this. I'm used to getting my check on the 1st and 15th. Hey, I'm great with numbers. I already knew what I was going to get on Fridays. Right. I already calculated my money on Wednesday. I already knew what I was going to get on Friday. I know what I needed to do. I was good. But as an entrepreneur, you don't have that luxury of knowing what you're going to get every 2 weeks. So you just have to be really good in budgeting your money.
How many parties did you miss?
A lot. If it wasn't free, I mean, like free 99, I was not attending. Yeah, I was not attending. I had to tell my girlfriends, I'm like, hey, sis, I'm gonna have to be an adult today. I'm gonna have to pass.
Yeah. And again, I just wanted to hear that from somebody, because a lot of times, especially if somebody's just getting to know you, they see what you're doing. They're like, oh man, they always say these same words. That's easy for you to say, right? Because they see you where you are and they don't see where you came from. And they're like, it's easy for you to say. And I like to go back and say, yeah, in 2013, it wasn't easy for me to bring my son home, and the same day my car get repossessed, the same night my son get home, and I Harvest Hope at my grocery store. Like, they're like, oh, okay, like, yeah, so that's what that was. I got free groceries every Wednesday at Harvest Hope, because of that, just less than 10 years ago. So it's not easy for me to say. It's easy for me to say because that was what I lived, and I don't want you to go through that same thing, because entrepreneurship is a hot button topic now, and it's the thing to do now. So what do you think about that? Because everybody should be an entrepreneur according to social media. Do you feel that way?
I don't. This is not for the faint of heart. This is like 300, whoever's left at the end, that movie 300, this is Sparta, like whoever's left, you know what I mean? So it's great. Being an entrepreneur is great. I'll say that, but it's not easy. It's not something you could be like, hey, I'm gonna turn on and turn off. Like every day you're focused. Every day you have to figure out how you're gonna make money. Every day is your focus to making sure that yesterday is better than today. What I need to do better marketing, better content. What do I need to do to get to the customer? So that's your mindset every single day.
Either, y'all. She's talking about every day, not Monday through Friday.
Every day, Saturday and Sunday. And this is my office. I'll be in here, so I'm like on my laptop to sleep. My baby is like, "Mommy, wake up! You have to go to bed," because you're grinding. Because you have, as an entrepreneur, your mind is always racing.
Yeah.
You're always thinking, you have ideas, and sometimes it's hard for you to go to sleep. And that's it. That's the mindset every day, because starting off as an entrepreneur is great, but you want to get past that. I want to have businesses someone else is running for me while I'm doing something else. So that's the end game for me, to run this business to a point where I'm somewhere else, whether I'm on vacation or I'm starting a new venture, but my business is still running. But you have to put in the work now in order for you to get to that goal now, because I'm dreaming now. I didn't dream before. I'm dreaming. I have a goal. And so now that's where I'm going.
So you jumped out. I mean, you were doing the insurance, but now you created this business that you have right now.
Right.
Again, I remember seeing you, hungry, ready to rock and roll.
Oh, I'm still hungry.
What was that? It's a different kind. I mean, it's always a hunger. If you can keep that hunger, that's fine. But that hunger when you first jump out.
Oh yeah, it's different.
It's
Way different. Yeah.
So what was that like? What was you jumping off the porch and saying, "Hey, this is thing with something with my name on it"? What was that like for you?
Because I've told this story before. A lot of the ventures, a lot of the business I've done is with males. I had male mentors, and it was always attached, with someone in a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And so this She Dreams Consulting is my baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. That's all me. That's all Tosha Dash. And how I got to it was because I was helping other people set up their businesses. I was helping other people get started. And when I got started with my business, I help small businesses leverage business credit. And so when I got started, whether it's insurance or, I had some other things that I'm doing, I still do, I didn't know about business credit. And so I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I felt it. I was working out one day and I was like, this is my purpose. Like, this is what I want to do. And I created my baby. Like this, I birthed She Dreams. I birthed this because helping other people, I seen where I can make it my own. Yeah. And so that's what I did.
So you're helping out with credit in financial scenarios. What's the biggest misconception about someone in your space being a financial consultant?
As a financial consultant, that you can start your business today and then you're going to get $20,000 tomorrow.
No, they ain't saying that, right? I see that on social media all the time too. Like,
yeah, they just think that, hey, you start a business, I can get you business credit, you get $20,000 tomorrow. No, sir, that's not it. Another thing is that you don't have to have your personal credit together in order to have your business credit together.
Now she preaching.
Yeah. So that is important. A lot of times, again, I see it on social media too. We can get you business credit without your personal credit.
Without a personal guarantee. Without a personal guarantee.
Yeah. Until they say, hey, you haven't been in business long enough, or we need to use your personal you need to be a personal guarantor. And now you're like in the 535s, and they're like, no, sir, you're not able to get that. So, and that's another one. And another thing with business owners who are successful, they pay for everything cash. They have this bad taste in their mouth about credit because of what may have happened in the past. They don't want to use credit. But if Walmart, Target, Bell, if all of them can use credit, why can't we use credit? Because they use credit.
It's the stigma from our community, and it's not even nobody else's community. It's our community. It's literally, because I come from the street background, and so I was telling somebody before, we used to clown people who had car payments because we actually got money. So if whatever we drove, we bought. Right. And that was crazy because I wish I had some of that money. I supposed to have been going to Hawaii or something like that. I'm turning up at the 40/40 Club in Atlantic City or in New York City or something like that. And I'm not flying all over the world. I'm doing that on legitimate money now, and that hurt a little bit.
Right. It's different. It's
completely different, and nobody told us about that. And we would clown each other for that type of situation. And then one thing in the Black community, this is just my opinion, I believe is a fact, but it's definitely my opinion, is that once somebody get the win, nobody's telling nobody else unless you're going to pay them about it. So it can be your sister. Somebody's sister, hey, I got the win. Don't worry about how I do this. And it's like, you got business credit. Tell your brother, tell your sister how to do it and pass it down in generations. I ain't say you got to give it to somebody you don't know, sell it to them. But nobody's talking about that. You got real family members who, like, I've been in a situation where I've been clowned because I didn't have credit. But now that I do got credit, now I'm at a situation. I'm like, I'm way higher than y'all. Y'all been sitting with 800 credit, ain't know what to do with it for 20 years. Right. I wish I had that credit back then and knew what to do with it, because y'all have no properties, y'all have no anything, but you was clowning us for not having no credit. And so you're
in the same boat. You're in the same boat because nobody has anything. Nobody has anything to pass down from generation to generation. You have nothing of your own. We don't own anything.
It's people, black people that I know personally, they got 850 credit, perfect credit, and has nothing but the house they live in.
And the credit.
That's it. And
To
that
say they
credit.
have it.
Look, and they're gonna protect it. They'll shoot you in your face over that credit, but they won't do nothing with it. They won't put it to use. So that's what I think the problem is. Our community with that situation.
Yes, we're not educated. We have to be educated on. You have to the education. We as a community, we have to start with, like you said, within our family. Like my sister and brother, they know about business credit. Like we all coming up together. It's us. It's us together.
Love
Yeah.
it.
And then now it's like, oh, my sibling, my brother has a business and my sister has a business. Now my sister is a full-time entrepreneur like I am. And so now I'm telling her, like, have our kids watching what we're doing so they can get that in their head. So it needs to be the norm
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be second. It needs to be the norm. We need to teach them financial literacy as a norm, not say, hey, I swipe my credit card. They think all the money is on there. No, mommy has to work. I had to provide a service or a product to someone. They had to pay me. And this is how we're living. This is how we're eating. This is how we're able to go to Hawaii or go to Florida because of what I've done on the front end. Now we can reap the benefits on the back end. But we need to show them, like you show your kids. Like now your daughter has a book.
Mhm.
And she did it because daddy had a book. We are products of our environment. So if we have an environment where we're not doing anything and materialistic stuff is important to us, then what do you think our kids are going to do?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, so when we first come off the porch in business, we have a rough patch. Tell us about yours.
Oh, so so I had a rough patch when I started off with business. It was up and down. Like I had times where I had like a drought of nothing. I had a drought where it was so bad. I was like on the computer, like I'm gonna apply for a job. I'm gonna apply for a job. And I had somebody that was like, no, you cannot apply for a job. But like, I don't have any money coming in. I need to apply for
You
a job.
understand, right?
Yes, it's like I have to, you know? And so it was hard because the money wasn't coming in. I wasn't doing the business I have now. Insurance was like, oh, I like insurance, but I really don't want to do insurance. You know, it's like, it wasn't my passion. It was my entryway into entrepreneurship. It wasn't my passion. And so I was doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that in order to kind of hold me off. You know, I was doing, and I'm a hustler by nature. I'm like my daddy now. My daddy is a hustler. Hey, I am a hustler now. So whatever venture legally that I could get into, sister's going to do it. Hey, I'm a Jackie of all trades, not a Jack. I'm a Jackie of all trades. And I could do a little bit of everything. You know, I did trucking. You know, I have a roofing company, and then I partner with Brownstone Roofing Remodeling. So now I do roofing and remodeling, you know, so I'm gonna get into something.
So roofing don't mess up your nails, girl.
No, and I see again, that's using this and not this all the time, right?
That's the whole situation, because again, I know you are 100% woman. And then he's sitting there talking about, oh, yeah, we doing this roofing thing. And I'm like, the nails always.
Yeah, I've been on top of a roof. I done climbed up the ladder, been all the way on a commercial roof. Like, hey, because I know I told you I was born in Cali, but I'm a down south girl. So, hey, I grew up in the country. So it's still there. You know, I'm girly today, but she is still there. But it was just hard because when you're an entrepreneur, if you don't have like a real plan, you know, so I kind of got pushed out there because of my job. If you don't have a plan, if you don't know who your market is, you know, who your competition is, who you're marketing to, you're going to be in limbo because now you're trying to figure out, okay, should this work? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? And that's where I was until I knew exactly what my purpose was. Yeah.
And I asked that question for a reason, because again, on this show, we're never going to sell people dreams. You know what I'm saying? Because when you go on social media, that's what they think. And they're literally, and then being a consultant, you're a consultant, they come to you with those expectations that they saw on social media.
Right.
So it's like, hey, well, I've heard that I can get $20,000 in a week on social media. You just ain't as good as whoever the hell this was on social media. I heard, but you don't want to pay them 50 racks, but you want to try to come pay me pennies. Right. And, but if I got to give you 50 racks, you're just going to get me 20, something wrong with that anyway. You know what
exactly.
But
exactly.
This is the whole point. And, you know, I don't want to sell nobody no dream. So everybody who jumps off the porch has that moment when it's like, is this a good idea? You know, because I know I made $3,000. I tell people, anyway, my first year as photographer, I made $3,000.
Right.
3,000. That's not enough to feed the family. That's not enough to feed the family, you know, but I could have said, forget it. But I would have went back to an $8 an hour job or whatever the case may be. But hey, the next year was way better. Still wasn't enough. It was like 14, but still, it's still way more than what it is. And it just keep growing. But at the same time, you got to tell that story. You have to talk about that portion of it, because we're not doing the people a good service if we just if we just keep saying that it's all sweet, it's all sweet, it's all sweet. So
I don't do that at all. Like the struggle is real. Like I literally, you know, everybody mud is different. So my mud may not be like yours, but I got mine out of the mud. My mud, you know, I got it out of the mud because I started off, and my dad was an entrepreneur, but because he didn't really teach it to us, I seen it. So it was in me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, once they came out, I'm like, oh, okay, like this is what it feels like. Like now I don't want to ever go back and work for anyone else again. I don't want to ask for days off. I don't want to have to work. You know, I used to work to 8 o'clock at night, go pick my kid up from school, drop off home, go to work, come back, fix food, and start my day again. I don't want to ever have to do that again. So that's my motivation to make sure I do what I need to do as an entrepreneur. And you have to be disciplined. If you don't have that discipline, then your job, your entrepreneurship career is going to go down too, because nobody's going to wake you up every day. Nobody's going to tell you to clock in at 8 and leave at 5, take your lunch break. You know, you have flexibility, but discipline is definitely a part of entrepreneurship.
So I see you in the full circle moment, because, you know, you went to school, good student, all that good stuff, graduated, got 2 degrees, started working in education, and did your entrepreneurship thing, doing it full speed ahead, and now you're educating. And now you're educating. What has that, what motivated you to start educating more people, and primarily women, on entrepreneurship?
As women, I'm obviously I'm gonna be a little biased because I think we're magical, especially Black women. I think we're magical, we're dope. We have a lot of hidden talents that we kind of sit on because we always put everybody else first. I'm all about self-development. I just had this conversation with my business partner. I'm all about self-development. I'm all about self-care. And once we put ourselves first, like our natural creativeness, our natural ability to be entrepreneurs, if that's for you, will come out. But because we suppress that sometimes because we always taking care of everybody else. But you know, once we are able to pour into ourselves first and find out what our purpose is, and it's to be an entrepreneur, I want you to feed into that. I want you to know that, hey, this is your purpose. And then we'll do everything else on the back end. So I like to let women know my story, you know, so even relationship wise, you know, I became an entrepreneur, a relationship. I had a relationship that ended at the same time. So I had a lot of brokenness, you know, so left a job, relationship, and it was hard, but I had to find out who I was outside of being all those other things for everybody else. And so once I found out who Tosha was, oh, you can't tell me nothing now. Sis is hella confident now. You know, that's who I am. But it took me a while as a woman. It took me a while because I was always giving importance to everybody else until I was empty for myself. And I didn't know this was in me because I was providing for everyone else.
Did your relationship affect your business, or did your business affect the relationship, vice versa?
No, it was already something. It did not. It didn't have anything to do with either way. It didn't have anything to do with either way. Yeah, it was just something totally different. Now, once you know, with the relationship ended and then going into business, going from 2 incomes to 1, it affected that financially. So I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, definitely. So going from 2 incomes and then getting a check for myself on the 1st and the 15th to like, oh Lord, like I gotta go get this insurance policy from, you know, such and such over here. You know, so financially it did. But it was the best thing for me at the time. And, you know, it was just the best thing for me personally in order for me to get to where I am today. So everything had to happen in 20, because I started in 2018. Everything that happened in 2018 at the time, it was devastating. It was awful. It was the worst thing. But 2022, it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Yeah. A lot of people have those type of situations where, when you're going through the worst thing you can ever imagine, you think about, and when you go years later, you're like, man, I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't go through that, so
Yeah.
I was just talking to somebody recently, I was talking about 2013. My rent was $750, right? And I was tripping because I was like, man, you would have thought $750 could have been $1 million to me.
Right.
I mean, when I had no job and no income was coming into my household, and I'm sitting here like, how the hell I'm gonna get that? And I'm sitting here like, I wouldn't even know what a $750 problem look like right now, because I got to deal with places in different parts of the country and all this stuff and business stuff like that. And I'm like, so you don't know what God gonna do for you. So that thing that's like a mountain today, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
literally is a molehill 5 years from now, because I'm like, man, I was really tripping over how I'm gonna pay $750. Like, I mean, I was tripping, but we don't realize until we go through it and grow. Because a lot of times it's knowledge. We don't have the knowledge, wisdom, understanding until we go through something. Like, it probably was big then, but you're like, yeah, you're rejoicing over it right now because of who you are. So even with all of your struggles, and that's what this show is about, again, stand tall and reclaim victory every day. That's the acronym S.T.A.R.V.E. Stand tall, reclaim victory every day. Most important thing is, what does that mean to you when you hear that acronym?
When you say stand tall, victory, because every day I wake up, and if someone asks me right now, I started maybe saying this maybe like 6 months ago, 7 months ago, like, I'm amazing. They ask me, how you doing? Amazing. Because I may not feel amazing, but I'm going to be amazing. I may not have amazing moments. I may not have amazing outcomes, but I'm gonna be amazing, because every day is not gonna be peaches and cream and unicorns and rainbows. But I'm gonna live another day to make myself better. I'm gonna live another day to not have what happened to me yesterday happen today. I'm big on that. I'm a firm believer, if something continuously happens to you every day, the same thing, that means you haven't learned your lesson. God is still teaching you, you're not learning. And so every day that you get up and you are able to overcome objectives, overcome despair, overcome falling down, like you said, you standing up, every day you get to stand up. That's what it's about. You want to stand up every single day and make your life better than it was yesterday. I don't want to be the same person I was yesterday. I want to grow every single day, not by the year, not by the month. Every day, Tosha is growing.
Love it, love it, love it. This is one of the reasons, like we talked about earlier, why I suggest certain people be on this show, because strategically we can highlight the entrepreneurship, we can highlight all of that, how much money people make and all that other stuff like that. But for me, when I was listening in my time, listening to the Eric Thomases of the world and all those people, I used to hate them at first, not personally because I don't know them, but they never told the story. They were talking about how lazy we were, or you don't get no sleep, or you ain't built for this. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I'm from North New Jersey. You can yell all you want to. That's all we do up there. So that don't scare me. That don't move me. I want to know how, because it didn't make sense to me that you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning every day and are supposed to get sleep. How did that happen? It wasn't until I found out that Eric Thomas went to bed at 7 o'clock. Then a word hit me, word you used earlier, discipline. Oh, okay. You go to bed at 7 o'clock at night and get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to put out your YouTube videos. You know what? I can buy into that. When I listened to the Gary V's, and he said that if it wasn't for his dad, who would allow him to work at his liquor store for years and perfect using his liquor that his dad has to open up his YouTube store, his wine thing on YouTube. Like, tell that story. I need to hear that, because, and my people need to hear it. And so if I have my own platform, I'm going to make sure people are telling the real stories so that people can know it's me. I can do that, because a lot of times you start hearing people's story, you be like, man, that ain't me. And they just walk off. But when you hear that Tosha went through a separation, you went through, now you're a single parent, you went through all of these things, and you lost a job, and you were able to do it, and you had some issues, but you still up. That makes it a whole lot better for somebody to say, you know what? I identify with that. I don't need to quit my business. I don't need to stop doing this. This is for me. This is just my time and my season to go through the same thing she went through, same thing he went through. And so that's for us in this show, Stand Tall and Reclaim Victory Every Day. I know we've talked before, but I wanted my people to hear your starve testimony and how you were able to overcome, because hey, your life started out well. It don't mean you're not going to have some bumps and bruises.
Oh, definitely. I always think if you didn't have bad days, you want to appreciate the good days because you think every day is supposed to be good. So
Yeah,
all of the bumps and bruises and the hurdles I had to cross and the detours and the pitfalls I had to climb my way out of. Again, that's why I say I appreciate all of those days because I wouldn't be who I am today.
I love it. And we love that you are who you are. You're representing well. I've told you off camera, on the phone, whatever. I support what you're doing. I am proud of you to see where you were in 2018 when we met, and then seeing where you are now. That's just a dope situation. We continue to remain authentic. And I know that God's going to give you everything that you deserve, and probably a little bit more too.
Right. I appreciate it because I feel like what I get and what I receive from my business, helping others. I love helping others. So like helping my clients, building a business profile, helping them get the lines of credit or business credit, that brings me joy. Like I get so excited because I know I'll get what I'm supposed to get on the back end. As long as I do what I'm supposed to do for my clients on the front end, I'll get everything I'm supposed to, I deserve on the back end.
Love it. I love it. Let people know how they can find you, how they can stay in contact with you, see what you're doing, go to one of your trainings, any of that. Give me all that information.
Okay. Well, again, I am the Tosha Dash, and I am the CEO of She Dreams Consulting. So we change the financial trajectory of small businesses by teaching them how to leverage business credit. We're not teaching them, showing them how to leverage business credit. And so you can go to She Dreams, that's with an S, LLC.com. I do free consultations for small businesses. And again, I don't want you to be a brand new business owner. I love you guys, but I need you to be in business for a while so we can be effective. We can get what you need to do. But you can give me a shout out there. You can also follow me on social media at Tosh Teaches Businesses. That's with Instagram. And then I'm Tosha Dash on Facebook. So you can DM me on either platform. And I would love to be able to help you. Again, we do the consultations for free.
Stay out of her DMs, dudes. Keep it.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry about it. I take care of all of that. If we are not serious, because I'm definitely about my business. And if you want to sidestep and talk about something else, no.
Nah, I'm tripping on my fellas. Look, we can't stop it. It is what it is. But you can curve it how you need to curve it. But I'm just tripping on my fellas. But no, you guys know how to keep in contact with us. www.iwon'tstarve.com, www.jhaleem.com. Go to Starve Talk on YouTube right now. Subscribe to the page. Click the like and notification button so we can stay in your, all in your inbox. Whenever something's going on, when you see an exclusive person like this right here on there, you'll know it. You won't miss one thing. Follow me on all my social medias. I am J Haleem. And stay with us. But again, until next time, stand tall and reclaim victory every day, because that's all we can do. Every day is going to be a fight. But if you in the fight and you win, you're victorious. So we'll see you next time. Tosha, thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me some time today.
Oh, you are welcome, Jay. Thank you for having me on.
I'm in the studio with J Haleem.
I'm in the studio with J Haleem.
I'm in the studio with J Haleem.
I'm in the studio with J Haleem. I'm in the studio with J Haleem.
You are now in the studio with J Haleem.